If you've been following the crypto market, you know that Bitcoin's been leading the way. It's been in a consolidation chop zone for quite some time. So, what should we expect in the next few weeks and even months? That's what we're going to look at tonight in Bitcoin consolidation. I'm the Gaussian Snake. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. Nothing I tell you is to be considered financial advice. Be sure to join my Telegram channel. Link is in the video description. So, we'll go ahead and get started with Bitcoin on the daily. So, this is a daily time frame. And we have our moving averages set up. I've got the yellow as the 20. I've got the blue as the 50, the white as the 100, and the red as the 200. If you are following me in my Telegram or even on Twitter, I believe, but definitely in Telegram, I got bullish this weekend down here. I noticed that we were making a crossover on the 20-day whole moving average. There is a death cross of the 50 with the 100. Now, even though whole moving averages are less lagging than simple moving averages, they are still lagging. There's no such thing as a forward-looking moving average. So what I've often noticed with death crosses of HMAs is that when they happen, they can be initially bullish. And you actually saw that here with the death cross of the 100 and the 200. We talked about this in a video like nearly a month, about a month ago. And we talked about how this is likely going to lead to some decline for a while, and that we would very likely not get above the 200-day whole moving average for some time. The average amount of time is usually 3 to 5 weeks. Given that the death cross occurred on January 10th and it's now February 11th, it's been a month. So we are in that window where we could expect to see some upward movement, but it could take longer as well, depending on what happens. Now, if you look at a previous situation where we had a death cross of the 50 and the 100, that would be over here. Price action was below the 200. Look, kind of similar. This is back in August. And we ended up putting in a double bottom, but we did get above the 200-day. And I did say it can take about a month for this to happen, but that ended up just being a slightly higher low relative to this one, or you could call it a double bottom. And then from that point onward, price kind of rallied its way up into where we are now. So we are in a flat out consolidation zone. I do truly believe that the low was printed at around, 89K. We missed my red zone by just a little bit, but that's okay. Close enough. This would be a slightly higher low. So this seems to be making like a turn. Now the question is, will this be a sustained upward movement, or is this just going to be another bounce that takes us, back down again, in a week or two? So that's what I want to address tonight. So I am bullish for this week, and I have, some evidence to kind of back up why I'm bullish. Maybe a counterpoint is that we are pretty much testing the median line of the Gaussian channel, although we are getting like above it, which is the fact that we've held the bottom of it is really bullish too. So the Gaussian channel measures sort of reversion from the mean, and with 2 standard deviations in either direction. So we're staying at about 1 standard deviation away. This looks bullish to me. I think we are going to pump into this death cross. Now, what happens next, of course, like I said, will require some higher time frame analysis to see if we're like out of the woods or if we have more chopping to do. If we look at the Bollinger Band on the daily, you can see that we are making the turn, right? We bled out and now we're making the turn. So that does look bullish. Probably the only other thing I'd like to look at is the wave trend analysis. Let's see what that's looking like. I think I'll look at this one here, the wave trend oscillator. So we did not go all the way down to the bottom of the range, which is okay. Doesn't have to. But it would be sort of important to point out where we are and when the last time this happened was. So it's been quite a while since we've been at a wave trend of negative 35.47. And you can see the bullish divergence building, which gives me a lot of confidence that we are indeed going to have some relief. Last time we were at this low of a level or lower was September. Okay. And then what happened next? We went on a run. So it's entirely possible that this is the start of a bigger run above the 1.272 to a new all-time high. And I'm absolutely open-minded to that idea if I can see confirmation in, I'll have 2 of these open. If I can see confirmation in higher time frame analysis, but stochastic oscillator looks good. We did bottom out on the daily in early February, and now we're heading back up. So by all accounts, Bitcoin does still look very good on the daily time frame. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. We've been really struggling with the 1.272 fib ever since it was hit. But we've also been preserving these moving averages really nicely, although we did fall below that 50. So again, this is a 20 week in yellow, 50 week in blue, 100 week in white, and 200 week in red. We did fall through the 50 week. Not that concerning. I think the worst case, I mean, obviously the worst case is, I don't want to talk about that, but realistically, I think the worst case is that we would find support on the 100 week, which would be, maybe around 94 or something if this continues down. There does appear to be an incoming death cross of the 20 with the 50, and we know that price just likes to rally into death crosses. That doesn't mean that it's going to go take off to new highs. So interesting, at the same time, there's a death cross of the 50 week and the 100 week. The 50 day and the 100 week. There is a death cross coming for the 20 week and 50 week. Okay. Impossible to tell how this plays out just based on moving averages alone. We're going to have to look under the hood to see if there's anything meaningful there. We can look at some of the same stuff like the Bollinger Band. If I turn off the moving averages, what you'll notice with the Bollinger Band is that we've rallied pretty much right into the middle of it. And this is quite common in bull markets where you get outside the Bollinger Band. Again, this is all based on statistical, probabilities. And we literally just slammed right into it. And we're holding support at it. So even though we've got that death cross incoming, we can also see some convergence of the upper and lower boundaries of the Bollinger Band. This looks bullish to me. Okay, this does look bullish. This looks like we're on the verge of another breakout. Now, I'm not sure that breakout is going to happen this week. I'm a little skeptical of that, but at least from here, it looks like that's what we're kind of building up towards. So if I turn on the weekly wave trend, let's see where that's at. Okay, so weekly wave trend is red and trending down, but it looks like it may have inflected. Okay, weekly wave trend got overheated in late December, so we needed a cool off. That cool off is happening. And I think it may need to cool off a little bit more. So I think we might see another very brief green leg and then come back down for a little more red. That's just a guess. That's just a guess. Okay. Nobody knows, right? I don't know. Nobody knows. The ADX and DI has kind of disappointed me a little bit when I saw the cross that it made. So this is the cross. You generally don't want to see this happen where you have the trend strength cross the green DI, but green DI has come down quite a bit. I mean, I think some kind of upward move is likely to happen soon. I'm not sure if this is going to make a bearish cross. I don't think it is. We have a trend strength that's pretty strong right now at 52. So if the green can kind of curl up, then that movement is going to be pretty strong on the weekly time frame. So ADX and DI is cooling off. It's pretty much crabbing, which is exactly what you see here. If there's any other things, let's look at the on-balance volume. That could be a useful thing to look at when we're going sideways. So on-balance volume is flat, but slightly up. Okay, but on the whole, I mean, it's matching the chart shape. So there's really nothing I can gather from on-balance volume, unfortunately. Sometimes if you have price kind of falling and on-balance volume is going up, it can be an early sign of a reversal in the making. We're not really seeing that right now, so it makes me less confident that this uptrend that we're having this week really could be sustained for too long. Let's look at, gosh, is there anything else? Maybe the Trix bubble might be a useful thing to look at. Trix bubble has had quite a bearish run here. You've got the 5 week underneath. This is the 5 week EMA underneath the 7 week EMA. You've got everything crossing down, but look at the 5 week looks to be kind of finding some kind of potential bottom, kind of curving around a little bit. So this does look like it could potentially be bullish. I don't know if all these moving averages are going to need to cross down though, and that would be bearish, right? So one thing that we should consider is that this bullish move we're having this week could be very short term. So if you look at the 50 and the 20, again, those are our death crossing moving averages. Turn off the Bollinger Band. There's too much noise. I mean, I think maybe a rally into that death cross and then a subsequent rejection is a fairly likely outcome. I would say that's a likely outcome, just based on what I'm seeing in different indicators. Stochastic oscillator, another one I love to look at in these kind of situations. It's come down quite a bit. I don't think it needs to come down too much further, to be honest with you. I think maybe it crosses up a little bit this week or tries to cross up, might have another rejection. But honestly, when you're in bull markets, you usually spend most of your time above the 50 line. That's just how it is. Doesn't mean you can't come down, but you're going to spend a lot of time in this hot zone. So I don't know, like, doesn't look too bad. What about risk? Let's see what the risk is on Bitcoin right now at these prices that we're at. So we're currently at 98 point, we'll just call it 98.2K. Bitcoin risk is still, yeah, it's around 60. We're just kind of consolidating in this region, just like we consolidated at the 1 fib. We're now consolidating near the 1.272 fib. Not much in my projection as far as Bitcoin is concerned has changed. I'm still bullish on it. This looks like a bull flag that's building to another upside move. And the question is, if and when that upside move happens, how high will we go? So some other metrics that are making me doubt the sustainability of any upside move that we have this week are conflicting information in the Polarity Digital risk metrics. So Polarity Digital, for those of you who've been following me for a while, they have their own risk metrics and market analysis that they've been doing since 2023. They're awesome people to stream with, and they use machine learning algorithms to get their data, which has been pretty damn accurate. So their UDPI short, which is like short-term price potential for Bitcoin, is pretty depressed. It's at negative 1.49, suggesting Bitcoin has quite a bit of upside to work with in the short term. The medium and long are still kind of cooling off, negative 0.87, negative 0.92. So it's better to be below zero than above zero in terms of like upside potential. The trend confidence indicator is at negative 0.34, indicating that, Bitcoin is more likely to trend down than up. And the momentum bias indicator is at negative 0.14, which is also indicating a slightly bearish slant to the price action. So that is maybe a little bit concerning in the short term, or in the more medium term, right? So is this a double top that we just had? Is that kind of what we're reacting to? We're going to come up and get rejected maybe near the 1.272 or even below it and then head back down. It could happen. I just have trouble thinking we're going to take this low out. I could be wrong. I did create this red zone because I believed at the time that Bitcoin could get between 84.5 and 88.5K. And I mean, maybe it will, but that's not my base case anymore. It just isn't. A lot will depend on what happens this week. Like, can we maintain distance above the median line of the Bollinger Band? If we do dip below, I'd like to see a quick recovery out. Like, you can dip below a little bit, but you generally want to see, like, are we about to enter into one of these periods? Like, the Bollinger Bands look very similar, don't they? Like, are we about to like chop for a while into like quarter two? I sure hope not, but if we did, it would certainly make me think this cycle could last a lot longer than what people are thinking and what I even thought possible. So it's just frustrating. We don't know the answers, right? We just don't know what is going to happen. But that's why, I'm having a plan is a lot more important than me trying to predict things. But what I can tell you from that data at Polarity Digital, it is suggesting that continued downside is likely for Bitcoin. So any upward movement we have is probably going to be short-lived, even though we've reached that, what do you want to call it, the 1 month milestone of the 200 and 100 day death cross, just to go back to that and illustrate for you. So this is the specific death cross I'm talking about. It's been a month, right? But we haven't really shown strength at being able to get back above the 100-day moving average. And this is kind of where I think we might stop out, is somewhere around here, if I had to guess. And unfortunately, probably head back down. There is a risk of entering into this red zone. I mean, it's not a guarantee that we hold it. It could be breached. It's possible. The 50 is trending down on its own death cross, and the 20 may not hold up. So, but this is not very volatile price movement in here. So I don't think whatever drop we have is going to be that dramatic from Bitcoin. There's a lot of support. Like I said, worst case for me is probably the 100 week. I may come to regret that later if I'm wrong, but that's kind of like what I'm eyeing is probably maybe we come up to this death cross, get rejected, come down to that 100 week, and maybe that's where we kind of build out strength for a future move higher. Just a guess. No way to know if I'm right until after it happens. Bitcoin on the monthly looks pretty healthy overall. I'm not really enjoying that we're having a red February so far. But look what happened here from March of 2024 to September. It was alternating green, red, green, red, green, red, green. And I don't know if this is going to be some kind of theme as we sort of like get higher and higher up. Like, I can't see us doing this for like the entirety of the year. Like, but it could happen, right? Like, it could happen. Like, I don't think it will, but it could. We do have support right now at the 20 month. We did not have that support in June. So I'm encouraged by the fact that we're holding support on the monthly. Even if we came down in price to that, right down to here, we're still holding support on the 20 month HMA. See, what happened differently in that run up in April of 2024 is we had to go all the way to the 50 month, but we just held support there. I don't think we're coming back down to the 50 month. I do think the 20 month is going to hold. I also don't think this consolidation period that we're in right now is going to be as long as this one. So I think we'll break out of it. If we don't break out of it this month, I think probably by the end of Q1, we can see some movement. People always talk about March being a bad month for crypto, but especially if February closes red, I'll be pretty bullish on March. Just put it that way. Any other indicators on the monthly that we would want to look at? We could look at the ADX and DI. So ADX and DI, it made the cross back in June of 2024. We did put in a lower high in December. So I'm anticipating we'll actually print a higher low though. And maybe even a higher high. How is that going to take shape? I'm not sure, but ADX and DI does look decent. What else could we look at? Can we get a bull bear power trend on the monthly? Look at bulls are still in control, firmly in control. They've been in control since February of 2024. So really, the monthly is signaling nothing to worry about. We're in a bull market. We didn't have that kind of confidence since, honestly, 2020. That's when it was very clear that the bulls were in control. The bulls have been in control this entire time. And look at the bull trend is heading up also. So I think like you can pretty much see that things are looking relatively good. So we might have some short-term pain after maybe a presumptive pump to the death cross or slightly above the death cross. Things might roll over again. I do not think we'll go below 90K. Maybe on a wick we could, but I don't think we'll take out that low that we set at 89-ish K or wherever that was, somewhere between 89 and 90K. I think the 100-week whole moving average would likely be a place of final support. I think it was 100 or the 100. Was it the 100-day or the 100-week? I think it was the 100-week. Let's just pull that up. You can't see what I'm doing, but yeah, 100-week. It's a 100-week whole moving average. It currently sits at around 91K. So I think that is probably, if we're going to come down again, that would probably be where I would expect us to build out a little bit more strength that might be sustainable to actually break through to another leg up, which I think could happen by the end of this quarter or maybe early Q2 at the latest, on our way to what I believe will be the 1.414 fib, which I said I was going to show you and I forgot, but the 1.414 fib is 128K. I think we actually might surpass that and go a little bit higher, somewhere between these two fibs. We don't want to get too high or we get too overheated, but I think we might come above the 1.414, and then maybe we'll have like an altcoin season when we kind of chop around it and test it as support if something like that happened. I think one thing about this cycle is it's actually very slow moving. And you can see that in the chart, right? This is like an extended 2017. Very slow move up. And I think this is likely building to some kind of blow off top. And this cycle could take longer than we anticipate. I'm just going to say that it's a possibility that I've just started thinking about. I spoke to somebody about this yesterday, that this cycle could actually extend into 2026 as a bull cycle. It is possible. And if we continue to see these long periods of consolidation after pumps, like let's say we pumped to like the 1.414 and had a really long consolidation or something like that for a while, that would boost my confidence in an extended cycle. For now, it's too premature to like really go there, but I think it's like something to worth at least like considering that it could happen. We don't want to religiously adhere to the 4-year cycle because we know that that's going to break at some point. And I think with the ETFs, Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETFs, potential Solana ETFs, that is going to stabilize price a lot more than it has in the past and lead to less violent drawdowns for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, altcoins are a different story, but so yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin looks good. I think it could be a little volatile in the coming weeks. February could close as a red month. It's possible. Um, I'm not really committed to it one way or the other, but I feel like the overall trend is still bullish. The bull market looks very healthily intact. And I think in terms of the very short term, I think we're going to continue to see relief this week. And I suspect this week will close green. So next week, I don't know, but I would say this week would likely close green. So I hope you enjoyed the content for crypto simulation theory and the Bitcoin consolidation story. What's going on? It's boring, I know, but we just report it as we see it. We try not to give, unnecessary hype if there's no evidence for it. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video. If you have any thoughts on what I said, just leave me a comment down below. If you want to get daily alpha and market reports from multiple analysts, including myself, please head over to Crypto Simulation Theory Telegram. Link is in the description below. It's completely free. We have about 330 members there that have been growing. This channel's just a little over a year old, and we've had really healthy growth and a tight-knit community in that time. So love to see you there. Till next time, peace out. Not financial advice. See you later.